Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you're a newer developer who's ever wanted to build a generative AI project, but you just felt, completely stuck at the starting line, you are in exactly the right place. Today, I'm stepping into the role of your senior tech lead, and we're going to do a proper code review and architecture planning session. Our goal? We are not just building some basic, messy script. We are going to map out the exact blueprint for a standout, professional-grade portfolio piece. Let's build a smart PDF chatbot together.
Okay, let's dive into this. The absolute biggest mistake I see junior developers make is stopping at a toy project. They write a basic script, it only runs locally in their computer's terminal, the code is, well, it's messy, and it doesn't really look or feel like a real product. But hiring managers, tech companies, they want to hire you for building complete end-to-end applications that solve actual problems. They want a professional user interface, a secure architecture, and something deployed online that they can literally click on. Today, we bridge that gap.
So, here's our whiteboard roadmap for today's code review. 1. The professional AI blueprint. 2. Securing the AI connection. 3. Formatting data and memory. 4. Building the RAG pipeline. And 5. Deploying your web app. Part 1. The professional AI blueprint, architecting the solution. Any senior developer will tell you, professionals always map out their logic before they write a single line of code. Here is the 6-module logic roadmap we're going to follow. First, the connection to the AI. Second, setting the AI's personality. Third, handling the data heavy lifting. Fourth, giving the AI memory. Fifth, assembling the pipeline. And sixth, building the UI. I promise you, by breaking down complex Gen AI development into these exact step-by-step chunks, it becomes entirely manageable, even if you're pretty new to coding. Moving right along to part 2, securing the AI connection, establishing the base. Our first real technical hurdle is securely connecting to the Groq large language model and giving it a personality. But before we even touch the code, we need to have a very serious mentor moment. Never, ever hard code your API keys directly into your Python script. Honestly, this is the absolute biggest rookie mistake in software development. If you type your secret key into your code and accidentally push it to a public GitHub repository, anyone in the world can steal it, hijack your account, and rack up massive bills. No way we're letting that happen. Instead, here's the exact professional workflow you must use to keep those keys secure on your local machine. You're going to create a hidden file called .env. You store your Groq API key inside that file, making sure it's in all caps. Then, inside your Python script, you import a function called load_.env, which securely pulls that key into your program behind the scenes. And absolutely crucial here, you add that .env file to your .getignore file. That way, it never, ever gets uploaded to the web. With security locked down, how do we actually connect? Well, think of making an API call like making a phone call. The LangChain framework we use in Python, that's the physical phone. The API key we just secured is the phone number we're dialing, and the Groq LLM, specifically the Llama 3 model in our case, is the highly intelligent person on the other end of the line picking up our call. Now, we really don't want this AI to be too chatty. If you ask a basic AI a question, it usually replies with all this fluffy preamble like, "Sure, I'd be happy to help you with that," right? In a professional app, we just want the facts. To kill that fluff, we set the model's temperature to 0, which stops it from being overly creative, and we use prompt templates to separate our messages. We send a system message, which is basically hidden instructions whispering to the AI to act like a strict senior research analyst, and a human message, which is simply the actual question the user types in. Part 3, formatting data and memory, feeding the engine. Okay, so we have a secure AI with a great personality, but right now it has 0 data. Let's fix that. Now, you might be wondering, hey, why not just copy and paste my entire 50-page PDF document right into the prompt? Well, because of this number right here, 8,000. Models like Llama 3 have a strict 8,000 token limit per request. To put that into perspective, a token is roughly 3/4 of a word. A massive PDF could be like 75,000 tokens. If you try to stuff that all in at once, the AI will just hit a wall and the system crashes. So the professional solution is something called chunking. We use LangChain to break the document down into bite-sized 1,000-character chunks. But, and this is key, we also implement a 200-character overlap. Why? Well, imagine chunk 1 ends with "the patient was diagnosed with," and chunk 2 begins with "diabetes." If we split it perfectly cleanly, the AI totally loses the context between the words. By overlapping, chunk 1 ends with "diagnosed with diabetes," and chunk 2 starts with "diagnosed with diabetes." It acts as a brilliant safety net to preserve the meaning.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the AI actually searches through these chunks. Because, AI doesn't read English the way we do, it reads math. So we use Hugging Face's mini LM model to convert our text chunks into vector embeddings. This is just the process of translating words into 384-dimensional mathematical numbers. Sentences with similar meanings will have mathematically similar numbers. This is literally how the AI understands context. But we have to store all these massive lists of numbers somewhere, right? We use Chroma DB, which is a specialized vector database. Now, by default, Chroma DB only lives in your computer's RAM. So if you close your script, the AI gets total amnesia, and you have to process the whole PDF all over again. As a best practice, we configure a persistent directory in Chroma DB. This saves the database directly to your hard drive. Think of it exactly like saving your progress in a video game. Part 4. Building the RAG pipeline, the intelligence engine. It's time to assemble the core engine, where the user's query, our database's memory, and the LLM finally meet. We're going to build a RAG pipeline. RAG stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation. I know, it sounds like a wildly complex academic tech term, but as your mentor, I'm here to demystify it for you. It's actually just a very logical process. It's a technique that simply gives the AI a specific, targeted document to read right before it generates its answer. That's the whole shebang. And this brilliantly illustrates the concept. Think of RAG as giving the AI an open book exam. When a user asks a question, the system does a similarity search in our vector database, pulls out the top 3 or 4 relevant chunks, and just hands them to the AI to read before it answers. But wait. What if the user asks our medical science PDF for a chocolate cake recipe? A normal AI might hallucinate and just make up a recipe to try and be helpful. In a professional app, hallucination is totally unacceptable. We prevent this by setting explicit boundaries in our LangChain prompt. We give it a strict rule: answer only from the provided context. And we add a failsafe. If the answer is not in the document, strictly say, "I don't know." This forces the AI to stay perfectly honest. Finally, part 5, deploying your web app, the portfolio upgrade. A local terminal script isn't going to impress a hiring manager. Let's upgrade this prototype into a deployed web application. We use an amazing framework called Streamlit, which lets you build beautiful web UIs using only Python, no HTML or CSS required. So the crucial point is understanding Streamlit's biggest quirk. It actually refreshes the entire app every single time a user interacts with it. To stop your app from getting amnesia and losing the chat history on every click, we have to implement session state. This acts as a vital memory bank that saves the conversation history, the load and PDF status, and the vector database between clicks. To get this out into the real world, here are your deployment steps. First, you build and test your local UI using Streamlit. Second, you commit your clean code securely to GitHub, remembering to leave your .env file behind so your API keys stay absolutely secret. Third, you link your GitHub to Streamlit Community Cloud. With literally just a few clicks, they'll host your application on their servers for free. And just like that, you have transformed a messy script into a professional Gen AI web app. To really stand out, you should embed this live link directly on your professional portfolio website, right next to a link to your secure, clean GitHub repo. You understand the modules now, you know how to handle tokens, and you know how to stop hallucinations. So my challenge to you is this. Your AI blueprint is flawless. What incredible portfolio piece are you going to build next?